Hello, Michael Hughes here, Michael Hughes Training. People sometimes ask, why do I get students to write in my classes? A lot of trainers don't. With a lot of trainers, they'll say, okay, look at the board, listen to me, you don't have to write anything down, I'm giving you notes at the end. And that goes down very, very well, because writing is work, isn't it? But the thing is, when somebody is sitting there in that situation, even if the trainer is interesting, sometimes people can kind of go a little bit onto autopilot. Sitting and listening is very, very passive. And that's why I get people to write. When I say something important, I ask people to write it down. If I show them something on the flip chart, I ask people to write it down. If I write something important on the board, I'll ask people to write it down. Now, writing does take time, and not everybody likes writing very much. But there are several reasons why I believe writing is really important. 1. It helps people to focus. When you're writing something that I've said, or writing something that I've put on the board, you're focusing on what I've said or written. You have to concentrate. Secondly, you have to remember. In order to transfer that information from the board, or from the air where I've just spoken it, onto your piece of paper, you have to remember what it is I said, what it is I wrote. And thirdly, you have to write it down. And the very act of writing involves memory and muscle action. You're using your hand and you're using your mind. So writing is not a passive activity at all. Writing is a very active form of learning. The student has to focus, they have to remember, and they have to write. And all these three things aid retention. And it's not just me saying this. There was a study a few years ago by the University of California which bears this out. I mean, I've known this for years, but it's official. So sitting there and just listening is very passive. But actually writing is useful. But what about typing? So let's say you've got a student there and they've got a laptop or whatever new technology they're going to invent, and they're saying that. Well, that is probably going to be neater than the handwriting. But apparently the act of typing on a keyboard does not aid retention half as much as the act of writing and forming the letters and forming the words with your own hand. So that's why I get students to write. It does take a little bit longer. And I get them to write, by the way, even if I am giving them printed notes at the end. So it may take a little bit longer, I may be giving them notes, but I firmly believe that the act of writing greatly aids retention. I hope this has been useful. My name is Michael Hughes. If you want to get in touch, my email is info@michaelhughestraining.com. In the meantime, please subscribe, check out my other videos, and keep up the good work.